Hey everybody, this is me, Lance Meister, the Undead Viking. I did not plan on doing this video, but something kind of funny happened yesterday, and I just wanted to do a quick little talk about it. So I remember that this happened, and also just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I like doing this stuff. So yesterday, my son got out of school. He's in 7th grade. He currently is the dungeon master for his gaming group. He's enjoying the heck out of it. They play 5e, and again, they really enjoy it. Well, I should say they kind of play an amalgamation of 5e and Shadow Dark and a few other things, but the root is in 5th edition. And the new Monster Manual came out. He wanted to go pick one up, so we went to our local game store, Paradox Comics and Cards. It's been around for decades. It's a great store. And we went to go pick up the new Monster Manual, which we did. And we got it in the car. Immediately he had the book open. He was going through. He was like, check out this monster, check out this monster. And that kind of made me feel good, because I can remember doing that when I was a kid, when paging through the Monster Manual, or the Monster Manual 2 when it came out, or whatever. Seeing all the cool new foes that you could fight, or you could put in dungeons for the players to fight if you happen to be the dungeon master. And when I got home, I said, hey, you got to do the dishes. And he's like, can I read the book for a little while? And I was like, that's fine. Go ahead. And I started making dinner, because everybody else was coming home soon. And I kind of watched him as he sat on the couch, and he just started flipping through the book. And he was every once in a while he would say, oh, hey, did you know that the gem dragon can do this or whatever? And I'm like, that's really cool. And it just again reminded me of being his age, and it gave me a lot of good memories, but it also made me just kind of feel closer to my son, which is just kind of a nice feeling. Anyway, as I'm sitting there and I'm getting ready to make taco meat and tacos and everything else, and prepping everything for dinner, and my wife came home. And we started talking to her. She said, hey, what are you reading? He showed her, and she's like, that looks neat. Is it good? And he's like, yeah, it just came out today. And they had a quick conversation about it, mostly to check how many pages and how many words were in the book, so he could log his reading. And then she, started talking to me about her day. So as we were, talking about that, I happened to I decided I'd just ask him. And I said, hey, look up orcs in the book. And he was like, okay, and he started flipping through, and I think I made a joke. I said, it'll be after ogre, but before otyugs. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I can do alphabetical. I was like, okay. And so then all of a sudden he's like flipping, and he's going back and forth. And he said, orcs aren't in here. And I said, that's right. They're not a monster anymore. And then my wife, who's kind of a closet nerd, she's played D&D with us, but also she, has played computer games like Skyrim, played a ton of World of Warcraft. She said, orcs are the good guys? I said, yeah, they're the good guys now. And she said, it's about time. And, it's one of those things where I kind of agreed with her. The idea of orcs, obviously there's going to be evil representations in our media all the time. The Lord of the Rings movies, for example. And the idea of orcs or whatever has always just been these like village burning ravagers, evil creatures. And that's fine. It's fine that they can be that. But obviously it's just become a more cultured viewpoint. I mean, I forget the name of the novel or whatever, but there's that book about the orc running, like, is it like a bakery or something like that? I've seen the novel, I've seen the book on the shelves at Barnes and Noble several times, so somebody will tell me in the comments, hopefully. But it's just become a more cultured book. I can remember the book Orcs, which, if you can track down that old novel, it was like a fantasy novel being told from the orcs' perspective, and they weren't just like mindless slavering idiots. They had their own desires and wants and reasons for the warlike nature that they had. And like I've mentioned, Skyrim, World of Warcraft as well. The interesting thing for me has been how very little uproar has been made over this process. In recent years, there are several YouTube channels, there are several people that post and what have you, blogs, kind of denouncing Wizards of the Coast for taking Dungeons and Dragons and twisting it and making it into something that it was never before. And how it's getting so far away from its roots and how it is woke and why it isn't any good anymore. And I did a big rant about this a little while ago. You can find it on my channel if you want to go ahead and track that down. You don't have to. But I've always found that there's going to be all kinds of stuff I don't like. And one of the things that as I've grown older is that I've realized it's fine that I don't like it. It's fine that I don't like that movie, or I don't like that song, or I don't like that book, or I don't like this version of D&D. That's fine. The problem comes to a head when you're trying to tell other people why they shouldn't enjoy that book, enjoy that movie, enjoy that TV show, enjoy that version of D&D. That for some reason they are less than. And I am pleasantly surprised by the fact that, for the most part, people are kind of taking this one in stride and saying, either this is awesome or, who cares? Because that means that our hobby is progressing, and our hobby is a huge part of my life, and that is a huge part of who I am. I mean, whether I like it or not, I mean, like when I started playing D&D when I was 7 or 8, I mean, it has been part of my life. Like, the only things that have been part of my life longer than that are my parents. I mean, it has been something that I have played, lived, breathed for almost my entire existence. And as I said, when I watched my son kind of digging through this book, it made me feel good. It made me remember what it was like to be that age and have all that imagination and wonder as I paged through that book. Something that's tough to recapture after, you get to be my age, which I am 40 years older than my son. But I was able to watch him dig through that book, and I felt like I was 13 again. And not to wax poetic, but that's a feeling that you can't buy, and you can't, you can't create it. It just comes. You can't force it. But it was there. Obviously. So I'm so glad that for whatever reason, we seem to be moving past this bullshit, that these precious hobbies of ours can still create these feelings in me. And it seems to be that these people that just want to hate on it seem to just be going away. Or at least I figured out a way not to see it that much. So there you go. Not really much about orcs or why they're not in the Monster Manual or why it's cool. So I apologize if you're expecting something like that. More of me talking about how good it is that D&D still exists today in the way that it is, in a way that it still inspires people like my son and still gives them that sense of wonder, happiness, and enjoyment. And it gave me a really, really great moment. yesterday while I made tacos for dinner. Anyway, take care of yourself. If you got comments or whatever, please leave them. If you're watching this and you want to subscribe, like, whatever, I'd appreciate it. Take care.